She said, but there's something that I realize, that many of the relationships we have in life, we take casually. And we don't say all the things that we really should say and do all the things with people that mean something to us that we really should do. And she said, I'm going to miss them, but it's really alerted me about how unpredictable life is. And so now she's going to become a very sharing person, more so than ever before, and all of the other young people that were involved. But they were handling it. And as you begin to look at your life, decide to handle things. When you decide that you want to begin to take control of your destiny, there are going to be some sacrifices that you're going to have to make. There'll be things that you're going to have to decide, I got to give this up. I've got to let this go. Many times you will have problems in your personal relationships. When I decided to become a motivational speaker, I was gone sometimes for weeks when I left home before coming back. And I'll never forget, I did a big major rally for a guy by the name of Dexter Yeager, a big Amway rally called Free Enterprise Day. And after speaking, people were chanting, "We want the motivator, we want the motivator." Well, I was excited. So I ran back to the phone after I came off stage and I called the young lady that I was dating then. I said, look, I wiped them out. They love me. They were saying, we want the motivator. Listen, they're saying, we want the motivator. We want the motivator. So she said, Les, I need to tell you something. I said, what? And I heard a voice in the background said, hurry up and tell him. I said, who's that? She said, Les, you've been gone so long. I said, yes, I've been working on a dream, and I'm sorry, the relationship is over. What? You gotta be kidding me. I said, hang up. I said, wait. And I said, Mr. Motivator, come on. I said, hold a minute, wait. I said, Mr. Motivator, come down. I said, okay. I went outside, I looked at the people, I said, you got to have a dream that's real big. I said, sometimes things will happen to you that will catch you on the blind side and bring you to your knees. I went back to the hotel, but they had to pull me off stage. I was out there and said, you got to have a larger vision. You got to be hungry. They pulled me off. I said, and you got to stay motivated. They said, come on, motivator. They were turning the lights off. The janitors wanted to go home. I wanted to keep on for me. So they took me to the hotel. They gave me my check. And I was walking in the room trying to find the Gideon Bible. And Lonely was sitting on the bed saying, how's your positive attitude? How's your larger vision now? I'm telling you, when this happens, think it not strange. You are going to cry. People are going to get mad with you. People are going to start working against you. Your mate is going to get upset with you. Where are you going? I'm working on a dream. Uh-huh. I got your dream. You ain't going to know it. People are going to start going crazy on you, becoming jealous and envious. That's a part of the program. Understand that. See, that's why a lot of people say, no, that's all right. I pass on the dream. That's all right. I just keep on biting my nails, hope nothing don't happen. But it's an experience that opposition, those obstacles that you will encounter, that's how you grow. That's how you become stronger. Now, will there be some tight moments? Will there be some times that you want to give up? Yes. Here's something I was reading that Harriet Beecher Stowe said. She said, when you get into a tight spot and everything goes against you until it seems that you cannot hold on for a minute longer, never give up then, for that is just the place and time that the tide will turn. Never give up then, and that is so important. When you're working on doing the things you want to do and fulfilling your dream, and things happen, there are times when your energy feels so depleted that you want to give up, that it looks just totally impossible. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, don't give up then. That's when you've got to fall forward, when life is kicking dirt in your face. Don't give up then. That's when most people turn back. Most people will tuck their tails between their legs and they will run in the opposite direction and say, that's all right, life, I don't want this. All right? No. If you've decided that this is what you want to do, you've got to become courageous to stand up within yourself, to face it and step forward. And ladies and gentlemen, that is what gives your life meaning. those things will begin to strengthen you like you can never begin to imagine. And I tell you, one of the most painful experiences I had in my life was also one of the most enriching, because they say that pain opens the space in the heart for joy. And because I did not buy into something, because I caught myself at a critical point and was able to back up and look at it, I was able to become free of the effects of what could have been a tragic situation for me and move on and do something about it. But I learned in the process that I had to learn to surrender and give certain things up. See, in life, everything that happens to you, there's a lesson in it. There's a lesson in it for you. If you look at it, whatever happens to you, just look at and view life that you're a student of the universe and say, what's in here for me to learn? One of the most tragic things that happened to me that could have been a tragedy was when I wanted to buy my mother a home, and I did that. And in my haste, and it was the first major purchase of property that I ever made in my life, and so I was naive. And so when we were sitting there at the closing, the attorney said, have you done a title search? And I said, what's a title search? And she said, well, that's when you check to see whether or not there are any liens against the property before you purchase it, so that you don't inherit any financial obligations of the previous owner. So the guy interrupted and said, look here. He said, the only reason that I'm selling you this house, and I'm doing it at a loss, I can actually make more money. But the only reason that I flew here from Philadelphia to sell you the house specifically is because I admire the fact that you're adopted and you want to buy this home for your mother. And he said, there are no liens on the property. I just want to help you. So I looked at my attorney. I said, I believe him. She said, Les, this is business. I'm not questioning his integrity, but I advise you not to sign the contract now. I looked at him. He said, if you're not going to do it, man, I'll just go ahead on and make the money that I was going to make. I said, okay, no. I want to do it. I said, I'll do it. So she said, okay. She said, this is not the last house in the world. I signed the contract. After being in the house for around 2 months, I received a notice that I had to pay a lien of $25,000 or I had to get out of the house. I called the attorney. I said, look here, sir. I said, my name is Les Brown. I'm the new owner of this property. I said, I bought this home for my mother. I said, she's 80 years old. I said, she has a bad heart, a serious condition. I said, and I just cannot give up this home. And I just exhausted all of my resources to buy the house. It's all I have. I said, can we work out some kind of monthly payments? I don't know how much I can get, but if you can work with me, I guarantee I'll give you my word. I want to keep this home. I'll pay you back. He said, we want the money in 6 weeks or you have to get out of the house. It's going to go on the auction block. I said, oh. I said, but I borrowed everywhere I could just to get the $12,000 to put down on it. He said, mister, that's not my problem. You should have had a title search done. So I went back home and I worried for weeks. I lost around 23 pounds. I would go home to catch the mail so my mother wouldn't get it. They put a listing in the newspaper. People were driving around, wanted to come in the house to look at it. So I put a sign out front saying that the newspaper article was an error, saying that the house was up for sale. And finally, when they were coming for the day they were going to auction it on the courthouse steps, I knew the moment of truth had come, I had to tell my mother. So I walked all night that night. Around 2 o'clock in the morning, the children were asleep, my mother was asleep. I said, Lord, why did this have to happen to me? I said, I'm trying to do the right thing. I want to provide for Mom. I'm not out stealing and robbing. I want to provide for my children. I said, why did this have to happen to me? I was personalizing. I was feeling like a victim. And so finally, I had to go in there and I had to tell my mama. So I kneeled by the bed. I said, Mama, I got something to tell you. She said, what? I said, we've got to move out the house. She said, why? I said, well, because of the fact that I made a mistake and I signed a contract when I should have had a title search done, and I can't pay the $25,000 outstanding lien against it. She said, good, I don't like this house anyway. I said, but you told me you did. She said, I just said that for you because you liked it so much. She said, it's 2-story, baby, and the arthritis, I can't climb the steps. But you told me you could, Mama. Oh, I just did that for you. I walked up the steps and I was in the room said, that fool crazy with his house. I said, oh, Mama. So I'll never forget when we had to pack up and go back to the old house we had moved out on in Liberty City, right down the street from Miami Northwestern High School. And the neighbors were out looking. Isn't that Mamie's boy? And they're coming back, you know. I was so embarrassed. I mean, I turned red, but couldn't nobody see it, you know. So my sister came over. She didn't make it any better. She was like, mixed the big time. Won't get no job going around and running your mouth. Yeah, you got a dream to get Mama home. Now, you back where you belong here. We came in the house and the roaches was playing bid whist. They said, y'all come on in, we miss y'all. And as I was taking furniture off the truck, I was so hurt and humiliated, and I felt beaten. And I began to cry, and I held my head down. And my mama said, hold your head up, boy. I said, Mama, I just can't, Mama. She said, hold your head up. You have nothing to be ashamed of. You did the best you could. Hold your head up. So I said, yes, ma'am, Mama. So I was carrying the furniture in. And I had to give a lecture that week on forgiveness. And I can't talk about anything unless I'm doing it myself. And I had to forgive and forget. Let it go so that I could grow. It took me time to work through that, but I did, and I was able to give the lecture. And to this day, I can't even remember the guy's name. But because I let it go and I began to focus my energy in the now, later I got a bigger and better home for my mama. Here's what I learned from that. That was not the last home in the world. There were other homes. If I had just been willing to just let it go, he who cares less wins. When the guy called and said, you got to get out of there, if this is what happened, through worry and stress, I could have had a heart attack over a house that my mama didn't even like. Do you follow what I'm saying? So I now realize, hey, it's only things. And it's okay, they are replaceable. I lost everything except my spirit. And except the love of my mother and her respect and the respect of my children. Sure, people talked about me. Did they laugh? Yes. Did I feel humiliated? For a while, yes, I did. Embarrassed? Yes. And that's a part of it, but I didn't stay there. See, sometimes you can wallow in it, you know, don't want to get somebody pull you out feeling good. Oh, I want to go back again. You know? No, don't wallow in self-pity. And there are people who will help you. You call them up and they'll give you a pity party, all right? No. I talked the other night about some explorers that were in Africa. And they saw these two little boys who were playing with some what appeared to be marbles. And they went up to these little guys and said, here, let me give you some candy for that. Little fellows ate the candy and liked that. I said, can we have some more? I said, yes. But would you give me what you were playing with? And they said, yes. And they gave these shiny little rocks, so to speak, to the explorers. And the explorers, taking them back and examining them, discovered they were large-size, uncut diamonds. They had a fortune. The little boys had a fortune in their hands, but they didn't know. They did not know. Repeat after me, please. If we knew better, we would do better. See, there are many of us, we work for people and sometimes put in 60 and 70 hours a week. Why? Because we have the ability, the talents, and the skills to contribute to the long-term growth and development and profitability of the company. Do we do that for ourselves? Oh, no. Why? Well, we say, well, I've got security. There's no such thing. It's an illusion in your mind. We go through life creating these illusions for ourselves. But it doesn't mean that you can't strategically work on something else on the side. Develop some hobby of passion and find ways that you can begin to create some alternative methods of providing wealth for yourself. See, you know, money is not important to me, but Rita Davenport said it's right up there with oxygen. But it is important to me that it not be important. I got that from Rhea Steele. That's important. It is important to me that it not be important. Make it important to you to live your dream. See, how many of you fly airplanes? You've been in an airplane? Raise your hand right. How many of you ever lost your luggage? Raise your hand, please. Raise your hand. All right, very good. Now, how many of you, if you knew your chances of getting to your next destination were as good as your luggage, would you still get on an airplane? No, no hands went up. You know why? You know why you could get on the airplane where your luggage is supposed to go and you show up and your luggage does not show up? Because the airline has made human cargo getting to the destination important, more important than the luggage. Aren't you glad? She said, yeah, I ain't gonna fuss no more. So as you begin to look at life, as you begin to look at the things you want to do, decide that you're going to become the active force in your life. Decide that you're not going to go through life feeling like a victim. Decide that when things become challenging, and they are, that you're not going to personalize it, that you're going to look at it and you do whatever you must do in order to work things out and learn from it. Learn from it. That's the key. I like what Charles Udall said. He says, in life, you will always be faced with a series of God-ordained opportunities, brilliantly disguised as problems and challenges. If you've lost your job, don't say that I've been laid off. Just say, I've been given an opportunity by the universe to find my life work. So as you view all of the things that happen to you as an opportunity, now you're taking it from a different perspective. Now you become an active force in your life. Now you are the one, rather than running from things as they begin to change, you become a change driver because you know that you've got the power within you to make the difference. This force, this power, this energy that you have, that's more powerful than anything that can ever happen to you. You're more powerful than your circumstances or anything that you can experience right now. Decide that you're going to commit yourself to act on your ideas, to become happy. Commit yourself to live your dream. Commit yourself to become the architect of your future. There's something that I heard that Goethe wrote that I love very much. And it really, as you begin to operate out of this consciousness, you begin to experience a different level of living in terms of commitment. He says, until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. See, until you are willing to jump out there. Somebody asked me, how do I do that? I said, no. You don't need any answers now. You need to make the commitment. Once you make a commitment, then life will give you some answers. You can't decide just going to sit on the side of the pool and just stick your toe in. No, you've got to be willing to make the leap. Most people don't want to do that. They want to sit on the side and say, tell me, is it cold out there? Is it rough out there? Come on out and see. See, no, you want to decide to make that commitment because then that's when you become involved in the learning process. He said, concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there's one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans, that the moment one commits oneself, then providence moves too. All sorts of things occur to help one that would never have otherwise occurred. He said, whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, magic in it. Begin it now. I read a book by Dr. Johnny Coleman that says, it works if you work it. And as you begin to look at your life, decide that you're going to start working on that dream. You're going to work and nurture that idea. Now, there will be people that will criticize you. There will be people that won't see it for you. But I say to you, don't let them turn you around. Shake somebody's hand on your right and left and say, don't let nobody turn you around. Yeah. That's key. Because people will try and turn you around. Hello? People will try and turn you around. But when I heard Bob Mays out of Chicago sing that song, "Don't let nobody turn you around," that's real. Because that's why most people don't act on their dreams and ideas. That's why most people, when I'm talking with kids that are in institutions, and I said, "What happened? Why did you give up working hard and making good grades?" Well, they started teasing me. And they allowed that peer pressure to cause them to scale down their dreams and their ambitions. They started following the crowd. That's why many people don't do the things they want to do. A friend of mine, he wanted to become an actor all his life. He let someone convince him, "You can't become an actor. You go out to Hollywood, they'll swallow you up. It's too competitive." Thousands of unemployed people out there. But then another friend of mine, Sheila Hall, and she decided at age 42, "I'm going to live my dream." Her son graduated from high school. She decided to make the plunge, to go to Hollywood. Quiet person, never had any experience in the area, and because she decided to make the commitment, she is now working on a one-woman show. And she's been getting support from everywhere because she was willing to make the commitment. This other guy is far more talented and skillful, but he wasn't willing to make the commitment, so he goes to work every day to a job that's making him sick, because he doesn't have the guts or the boldness to stand up in life and say, "I'm going to live my dream. I'm going to commit myself to live out what's in me." I heard Dr. Johnny Youngblood say, "I must live what's in me." I said, "Why do you do this?" He said, "I got to do it. I got to do it."